Everyone, my name is Elvis. I'm a medical doctor and I'm also autistic. Today, I kind of want to talk a little bit about autism, sort of the backstory and sort of it leading up to its current conditions and sort of some different etiologies. So, back then, autism spectrum disorder sort of wasn't a terminology frequently used up until 2013 when it was added to the DSM-5. Before then, it had a bunch of other prior diagnoses or sort of other names that it was used for during that time. One commonly used before then was Asperger's, sort of to refer to sort of severe form of autism, as well as other antiquated terms that aren't used so much anymore. For instance, I was diagnosed initially with mental retardation, just because it was a little bit more of an all-encompassing, easier term back then to talk about all these sort of etiologies. So in 2013, the autism spectrum disorder was sort of created, or at least the name was. There's been sort of a bit of discussion around sort of the naming in terms of autism spectrum disorder. Whereas one, it is a name for the disorder itself, but two, the spectrum disorder part sort of gives a false representation sort of to like the linearity of severity related to it. For instance, like a antiquated term that they commonly use is high functioning and low functioning. So I would be considered a high functioning individual, which is obviously not a term used much more anymore today. But because of that, that would mean that, for instance, I am very not severely autistic, and severe as in I am not debilitated so much that it impedes on my quality of life in terms of daily activities of living. For instance, I am not mute. I am not unable to cook and clean for myself. I am able to function in society to a relatively high degree independently. Whereas for someone who is considered low functioning, there were people who would be, for instance, mute, unable to cook and clean for themselves or take care of themselves in that capacity. The idea currently that most people are working with sort of the autism sphere, which I think is a lot better in terminology and also a little bit more well-rounded in that sense. For instance, the sphere, which I will include somewhere over here, has multiple qualities in which people can be impaired. So it shows different levels of strengths and weaknesses, which is, I believe, more encompassing towards specific individuals because we all have strengths and we have weaknesses. And the same goes for people who are neurodivergent and autistic as well. So I believe that is sort of the better ideology that I sort of agree with more, and one that a lot of people are sort of going towards now today. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to comment below, I guess. And have a great day.